How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Corey Bosmer, host of Conversations with Corey podcast, and the person that runs the social media football page on Facebook and Twitter, known as Football Kentucky DBA. Today's guest is former head coach of Western Warriors basketball, Mr. Brandon Britt. How you doing today, Brandon?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Appreciate you having me.
No, I appreciate you being a guest. So what exactly happened and transpired into you leaving and taking the collegiate position that you took?
Well, guy called me to Western. He also told me when it was time to go. So we won't need any specifics, but I got a phone call, and that all and it made sense for me and my family. So it wasn't the first college opportunity I got.
Since you've been at Western?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was the first one. Obviously I coached college before I was
Yeah.
at Western, but this one made a lot of sense for me and my family at the time.
So you're saying you graduated from Western High School?
No. I graduated from Fern Creek.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about the transition from me leaving.
The transition. Okay, sorry.
Is that what you was asking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, with you, officially being gone from Western High School, what was it like to accomplish what you guys were able to accomplish in the 4 to 5 years that you guys were there together collectively with you, Brandon Anderson, who's now the head coach at Central, and the other great coaches? Because a school like Western gets a shitty bad rap. We all know that. Always has, and unfortunately, for the foreseeable future, always will. With that being said, the perception sometimes is the reality when it really isn't. There's a lot of good people that put forth effort that work inside schools like Western all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like accomplishing what you guys did there while you were there? Because stuff like that normally doesn't happen at a school like Western.
Mm-hmm. All right. I mean, it felt good. Definitely, took a lot of hard work from the collective, from the coaches, the players, and the kids. Definitely felt good to, in a sense, I hate to be so cliche, but, change the culture of, the basketball program and somewhat the school too as well. But it definitely felt good doing something different, doing something new, doing something fresh. So it was definitely, something that, that kept me and my coaches, my players driven to, keep wanting more, keep, striving for greatness. So, definitely I feel like we left our mark at Western, for that. And then that will be, move forward, whoever they hire to, replace me is going to be in a good situation. You know what I'm saying? So with a pretty nice roster, coming back. So,
More than nice, man. Because, that's one thing that me and BA talked about. And one thing that BA said was the expectation was higher at an unfair advantage on the kids because of how much you guys actually accomplished the first year. Would you agree to that?
Well, BA's first year. So that was my third year. BA's first year, we went to the regional championship. And,
So hold on. So that was your third year, BA's first year?
Yeah,
I didn't realize. I thought it was your second year. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I did 2 years without BA.
Okay.
And BA came on.
I thought it was only one. My bad.
No, you good. So that was the year we went to the regional championship. And our kids were literally 13, 14, 15 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
We had 3 other seniors that were, kind of keeping dribbles, Joy Lee, Amari Taylor. But, the rest of the guys, it was all 8th grade, freshman, sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
So then once we definitely, it was definitely Cinderella type run. You know what I'm saying? It was a level of luck, of course, you know what I'm saying, with those kids being so young. I think at that point, we was already like, all right, they made the regional championship. They were so young.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now next year they have to win it. You know what I'm saying? That was the kind of expectation that everybody kind of put on us and kind of put target on our back to ourselves just because people felt like we were thinking our kids or our program was better than someone else when we weren't. We were just trying to shine light on our kids and what we had to offer. For kids, going to college. That's what we try to keep the main thing is getting those guys to the next level. And that's all we try to do at the end of the day. It wasn't never of us being better than y'all. It was, hey, we got something going over at Western, come check us out, check our kids out, college coaches, things like that. So that expectation got put on us, pretty prematurely. Then returning that next year, and all the guys were freshmen, sophomores, juniors, And I never at any point in time since that year we came into a game where we were or more seniors on our roster than the other team.
Right.
You know, because I never had my second year we had about 5 seniors. But anytime after that, my third year from regional championship on to the next, 2-3 years, we never did have a team that was older or more seasoned than our opponents. So it was kind of and then next year will be a team where we actually have a real veteran team with, we'd have roughly 10, 11 combination of seniors and juniors. So like I said, whoever takes over Western will be in a pretty good situation.
So I want to stay on that. Being a coach, what to you is more important? I know you got to have both skill and experience, but when it comes down to certain key moments and situations and crunch time, crucial games, do you prefer experience over skill?
Definitely, because basketball is you need ability, but it's also a thinking man's game.
Absolutely, BX said that at the same time. Yeah.
So just having been able to process time, possession, process information. Not saying like kids couldn't, but when they're young, you just got to be in those situations to know what to do. We can practice those situations all we want in practice, but until it's actually in game time, we're in the district semis or championship, and it's 2 minutes, 1 o'clock. We got to do this, do that. Just having those seasoned guys that already been there before definitely matters. So I definitely rather have experience for sure.
Looking back at your total time and totality at Western, do you have any regrets?
Oh no, not at all. I always, of course, the things you probably look like, on the ride home after the game, you're like, man, I could have did this, I could have played this kid more, I did this, ran this play, but it's never like a regretful type thing. You know what I'm saying? So definitely at peace with what we did at Western, what we accomplished. So
That's a good thing. Now I'm going to talk to you about you as a player. Where did you play college basketball, and who made the most impact on your athletic career?
So I originally went to Campbellsville University to play football, and then I kept having some shoulder injuries, and then I ended up playing basketball that same year. Coach Atkins, Coach E. Atkins. I played there. I played football, redshirted, and I played another year after that. And I played basketball as well. Then I transferred to IU Southeast for my last 2 years of basketball. Wally Brown definitely was the most influential to me in my life as a player and a coach now. So it would definitely be him.
What was it like for you playing college athletics back then? Because we're not that old, but I mean, we're not. Playing back then and playing now, it's 2 totally different worlds. Do you see any similarities from how the game is played today to where you played it?
I think the game's kind of transitioned to more jump shooting, less emphasis on playing through big guys. It's definitely changed. I don't want to say off the court, but like comes to like transfer culture that's going on right now. Everybody's soon something don't happen, soon something they don't like, they kind of transfer. And I ain't trying to sound like a contradicting person, but I end up transferring my degree. Had a personal thing. I had to help take care of my little brother, but it's kind of now just everybody wanting to transfer. Everybody I guess wants to feel recruited again.
They run away from when stuff gets hard.
Yeah, and then the parents probably have a bigger a big influence on their thought process.
More now than ever, yes.
Yes. That's probably what I would feel is parents are more involved. Like my parents were involved, but it wasn't like I'm going to talk to the coach about your playing time. Like, no, you got to go figure it out. You want to play more, you got to find a way to get on the court. You talk to your coach. I'm not calling your coach for you. I'm not doing none of that. You got to go figure it out. So I feel like that's kind of changed a lot since I played. Probably those would be the 2 biggest things: parents and transfer and things like that.
So let's stay on that. If you got a kid that's, let's say, counting, times playing Little League sports and then playing high school, if they jumped shift to shift, team to team, more than 5 times, and the kid's wanting to play college sports, would you say now, being a college coach, that's looked at in a negative fashion?
Yes.
No, that's what I'm saying. When you consider that a negative thing.
Yeah, because some something he don't like, he's probably gonna, based off his track record, could it change by the time he gets to me? Sure, it could, but creatures of habit. So if he's showed track record of jumping AAU teams and transferring high schools, then that's probably a little bit of a red flag to me, being honest.
Oh, definitely. No, it is. It really is. What was childhood like for you growing up, Brandon?
It was tough. I grew up in a house. I had mom and dad, but we didn't grow up with much money. I had 5 other siblings that lived in my household. My dad had 9, and my mom and dad had the last 6 together. Grew up government assistance. Kind of moved around a lot. Definitely was a struggle. Eating 2-3 weeks out of the month. I only 1 week where actually had so definitely was relying on eating the school breakfast and lunch every day. And then we sit out dinner. So it was tough, but it definitely made me brought the dog out. What I'm saying, brought the made me tough in life, mentally tough to get through things. So I definitely want my kids kind of experience some of the hardships I experienced. Now I got to create hardships for them because they didn't grow up like I did, but it was definitely tough.
Okay, and I want to stay on that with the parenting thing. I had a conversation with my buddy Craig about parenting and stuff like that, and I made the acclamation that our jobs as parents is to give the life to our children that we didn't get to live. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, I'm not saying that your parents or my parents did bad, but situations are always different.
Mm-hmm.
You never want your kids to experience what you go through as a child.
Right.
But at the same time, you said you still want them to understand that everything could be taken away. How important would you say it is for kids, not our own, but kids in general, to, I wouldn't say experience hardships in life, but understand that things could be taken away? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's very important. People, families who are well off, or I won't say well off, or very comfortable. Got to have a level of adversity that the kids need to go through, so they won't. Once they be an adult, mom and dad may not always be there for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it'll be a struggle for them if they don't experience those adversities in some way, form, or fashion growing up. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have to be eating every night or having having the type of clothes, whatever it is. But I think it's very important to go through some adversity to some degree, and then battling through it. You know what I'm saying? And parents letting them figure that out. But I think it's one of the things that definitely needs to kids need to go through, so they won't feel like everything's just going to be hunky dory for their whole life. So definitely very important.
Definitely. I want to get back to parent involvement. You were talking about it a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of parent involvement. Would you let me rephrase it? The involvement of parents is, I want to say, sometimes more than it used to be, but in a negative way. So the lack of positive parent involvement in their child's development in sports and in life, how much of an impact would you say that has on the child, on and off the court?
So the parent involvement is a good thing when you're there to support your kid and his team. Definitely, of course, you're there with them to root them on, but it comes, a line got to be drawn to where it's you're wanting the kid to be successful more than the kid wants to athletically.
Absolutely.
And then there's been instances, not just me, just talking to other coaches, where parents are more involved today, but it's not for the betterment of the team or the program. Like I said, understand, support your kid to the fullest for sure. But, when it comes to, they just want their kid to shine and outshine everybody else on the team.
Correct.
And, that's when it kind of becomes an issue, because a lot of times kids naturally want to be part of the team and want to see their friends succeed too as well as themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But the car ride home and the dinner table talk usually is what makes it hard for or for coaches and teams to really truly come together. Because our society's teaching us it's all about me, and create a selfish entitlement society that comes out with kids in sports.
Definitely, you know, the one thing that I've noticed, and I'm going to stay on that before we talk about other stuff. One thing that I've noticed in today's society more than ever is not any child or any group of children specifically, kids in general, in totality, and like you said, entitlement, they expect the most without putting in the least, with zero effing effort.
Yeah.
Like you can't have that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So as a coach, how important to you, to your coaching staff, and how important to you, to your team's culture and whole, is it having kids willing to go through adversity?
It's very important. You know, that's the thing, because that's what life is. That's what sports is. At some point, it's going to be some adversity, because you're going to run into the team that you're not physically better than. How are you going to come together and figure out a way to win? You know, but it's, you know, sad, because like I said, me and other coaches have had parents kids who might miss practice, or the grades may not be on par and things like that, and they're still expecting them to play, and are, you know, they get pretty upset whenever, you know, the standards are laid down to them. You know, everybody's fine with rules and everything until one of their kids violates one of the rules or one of the, you know, things that have to face consequences. You know, but man, it's definitely tough coaching youth sports today. It's very tough, you know, because we're doing a whole lot for little to no pay, or paying to coach to a degree.
Thank you, folks. Pay attention to that answer.
Yeah, because I mean, we're investing in other people's kids, other people's families. Of course, we made the decision.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we just need you to be there to support, unless you want to get on the sideline with us, and because you're not going to know until you're doing it. You know, because parents have no idea what it's like. Okay, yeah, you want what you want for your kid. I got 14 other kids on this basketball team, or I got 30, 40 other kids on this football team whose needs and need and want to be met too as well. You know, so you never really know until you're out there doing it, and then being on the other end of, you know, seeing how, you know, because it's wild, man. It's just getting wild, you know. And then I think it's kind of like I always bring up LeVar Ball, how what he did with his kids, like he helped them get to new heights. But I think every parent starts to conduct themselves in that manner, and, you know, thinking that's okay, you know, which, like I said, support your kid to the fullest, you know, but not when it comes to the detriment of everybody else.
You know, I agree. You know, prime example, what LeVar Ball did, a lot of it was amazing, but also what he did, a lot of it, pardon my French, fucking just flat out wasn't amazing. Right. Kind of just what you said. So that is, as good of his involvement as a parent was, it almost, if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, almost was close to equally bad. And another thing, that kid, what's he call himself, Baby Gronk, that child's dad, bro, like, what are you out here doing? How important, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if the bad almost outweighs the good, you need not be involved, period. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, the LeVar Ball, I think his two sons that went to the NBA were like lottery picks. They're going to be lottery picks, whether he was sticking a mic in front of it and saying what he was saying. I think they were going to get there regardless. Yeah. You know, so it kind of, you know, almost went negative. But at the same time, it's definitely good seeing him support his kids and instill that confidence in them. But at the same time, you know, it's just kind of a line has been drawn, you know. But, you know, it ended up working out for him, you know, because all the dads usually want to live vicariously through their kids. And, you know, I get it, you know what I'm saying? Especially if they played to experience what they experienced through sports. You know, the sports can can take you places, you know, that you would never been. You know, it's definitely taking me places that I never would have been, like, you know. So I didn't vacation growing up, but playing football and basketball, when I got to college, I be travel all over the U.S., you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so I'm definitely thankful for the game when it comes to things like that. But, you know, I don't know, so I was wish parents to kind of take a deep breath, take a step back, and let their kid want it and love it for themselves.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, your time's over with, unfortunately. You know.
For sure. Definitely. So I want to talk to you about a few things non-sports related. So we live in a society now more than ever where mental health is very vital in the ongoing success of an individual's life and of a program success. How important to you specifically for yourself is mental health, and how important to you as a coach is mental health for a staff and a team culture?
It's very important. You know, it's probably one of the top priorities right now. I get counseling whether I'm feeling good or if I'm not feeling good. You know, I always, you know, get counseling. You know, my wife's an ex-social worker and school counselor, so like always, you know, we always make sure.
That's what my wife does too.
Really? Okay, that's awesome. Definitely, we really make that a thing to make sure, you know, whether we going separately, going together, things like that. So, and I always do like wellness checks on my kids, you know what I'm saying? You good? Anything, you need anything? You know, it's the type of question I usually ask quite often just to make sure they're okay mentally, because if your mental's not right, then you can't really come out here and grasp what I'm trying to give you, you know, on this athletic field, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Because, you know, if your mental ain't there, then, you know, it's going to be a struggle for you, you know, so it's definitely one of the things you need to take very seriously, and you know I do too as well. And you know, and I've actually, you know, had been points in time where I've actually helped kids get counseling, get extra, you know, resources for things like that. So it's definitely one thing top of the list.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
With you being an advocate, you know, since you just said what you said for mental health, not just for men but just for people in general. Did you ever share experiences that you had struggles with mentally growing up with kids? And did, once you shared those, your heart-to-heart moments, did you see a turn and change for the better in those children?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was always open book to all my guys, my team, my coaches. I told them literally everything, good, bad, and ugly. It's happened in my life and how it affected me and my thought process, because I had to, you know, and it's also therapeutic for me, releasing whatever it is I'm thinking.
For sure.
And letting, you know, just empathizing with them, things like that. But I never could, especially with my group of kids, I couldn't coach them hard so they know I love them harder. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, you know, me exposing those things to them made them in turn open up. They didn't have to, but you know, I always, you know, open book whenever the situation came about, whatever it may be with any particular kid, whether it's one-on-one or in front of the team. Look, this was going on. Look, Coach Britt went to this, and this. Here's how I handle it. You know what I'm saying? It may not be the best way, but here's how I handle it. Here's how I got through it. You know, so now here's options of way you can maneuver through whatever it is you're going through. You know what I'm saying? To come out successful. Because at the end of the day, I want you to win, but you ain't better win if you got something weighing on you all the time that you don't know how to handle. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been a teenager and been at those points where, you know, you just don't know what to do, know what to turn, because mental health wasn't a huge thing, you know, back in 2006.
Sure the hell wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like...
hold on. How old are you?
34.
Gosh. Not too far away, but I got you about 4 years. I guess I've been out of high school 20 years, man. But anyways, yeah, like you said, mental health wasn't prevalent as it is now.
It was to get over it or yeah, figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, that's it. Now, again, on that, like, at some point, you have to get over the shit. But also, at some point, you just can't. You get what I'm saying? So, before we get back into basketball, what advice would you give to people that just can't get over some things in life, and, like, what's happened to them?
I mean, the advice I would give them is, you know, I don't know if they're spiritual or not, tap into some spirituality. If not that, you know, talk to somebody that the coach who they love, maybe whether it may not be a stranger or a counselor or something like that, but you know, I'm gonna talk to somebody and see if anybody can offer you some resources instead of just, you know, trying to keep it in. And you know, and I think there's at some point, you know, whether it takes longer or not, but there may be a way out. But you know, just as long as you know, the only way that you're not getting out for sure unless you take your own life. You know, and hopefully, you know, nobody ever, you know, it happens, but it's not, you know, there's another way that you can try to handle it.
I remember
resources, you know. So
I was in 7th grade, and I had a belt around my neck, and I was standing on top of the bed, and I had it in the process of like putting it on a ceiling fan. Obviously, I was gonna break that shit, and wasn't nothing gonna happen. You know, my mom come running in the door. What the, you know. Nothing happened, luckily, but the fact that I was willing to go through that or had the thought process was terrible.
It's tough.
You know, one thing too that I've learned, it could always be worse, and that's true. Somebody out there always has it worse than you, but unfairly, people don't know what you go through. Everybody goes through different shit in life. Yeah, that's true. So what you're saying is, no matter who it is or where you're at, always talk. Find somebody you can talk to.
I would try. You know,
definitely.
That's not my profession, but you know, I said one thing I always did definitely did wellness checks on everybody all the time. Like, you know, like I said, players and coaches, and if I could help anything I could do, you know, I was there for them. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I love sports, I love basketball. Basketball just what brought us in the room together. So I tell my guys, basketball just put us in this room together. You know what I'm saying? So, but now we got to find out how to win at life when this stops. Because this is going to end sometime.
Absolutely.
You're going to graduate. You're going to go off to college. You know, and like now I immediately get a new job. Like this is going to end.
Yeah.
This is going to end. You know, so what did you have to take with you when you hopped in this car with me to get to this next decade? What do you got to take with you for the rest of your life? You know what I'm saying? It's going to help you get through. You know, so.
All right, a few more questions. Get back into basketball. Where are you going to coach at now, collegiately, and how did you go about making a decision to coach where you're going?
I'll be going to Edward Waters University, Division II in Jacksonville, Florida. The decision definitely was tough. Me, you know, because me and my coach staff, we always talk about this group, you know, this 23-24 team coming up is going to be probably our most talented roster we had. But, you know, definitely had to, you know, talk it over with my wife. I mean, it was over some weeks, you know what I'm saying, thinking about, you know, the offer being on the table and things like that. So definitely had a lot of conversations and consideration because it wasn't easy leaving this group that I had, you know, because I really care about and love them guys like they're my family, like they're my sons or nephews or, you know what I'm saying, little cousins or whatever, you know, so it's like, you know, leaving family, you know, so. But I felt like it was, you know, God said it was time to go for me. You know, He led me to there, and He led me to my next chapter. You know, so you know, me and my wife talk about it. She's with it. She's supporting it. You know, so you know, this is where we're at now.
You know, the good thing about with what your wife does, it's just like with what my wife does. You can find, you know what I'm saying. So it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
Your kids excited, man?
Yeah, my daughter definitely, she, you know, we go to Florida at least once a year, and she always, you know, correlates Florida with Disney and everything, so she thinks she's going to be able to go to Disney every day now. Ain't working like that, ain't got
Not yet, not yet. Daddy ain't got it like that yet.
Yeah, Lord willing, but yeah, definitely kids excited.
All right, 2 more questions. If you could give one piece of advice to people out there about life, what would it be and why?
Number one, chase whatever your passion is full throttle. Whatever your passion is, whatever your dream is, because you're going to want to wake up every single day, you know, eager to get to do what you do. And not having to settle for what somebody's telling you to do versus what you want to do. Chase your passion. Don't chase money. Money end up chasing you as long as you're chasing your passion. You know, so I definitely tell them to chase after their passion and do it, you know, as early as possible. Because you don't want to live with no kind of regrets or what ifs because you didn't chase your passion or you was fearful of being great. You know, and I know a lot of people, and even myself at some point in time was, you know, afraid to be the best version of yourself. It might sound wild. It's like, why would you be scared to be great? But you'd be surprised how
it's powerful.
Yeah, you know, you'd be surprised how some people's minds work. So, you know, definitely chase your passion, whatever that may be. You know what I'm saying? And the main thing is you gotta identify whenever you identify that. You know, so it might take some time to identify, but once you identify that, chase your passion and make sure that's what you want to do when you wake up every day. You know, because I would want to, and I've been there before where I've had to wake up, man, I gotta go work at this, and I done worked in factories, I done worked in sales and did stuff like that. Like, man, I gotta go to work. You know, coaching basketball is like, man, I get to get up and work with these kids at Western. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I get to, you know, I get to wake up every day and coach college basketball. I get to go out and recruit. Like, it's what I love. It's what I'm passionate about. You know, so I'll definitely tell you, everybody chase their passion.
When Brandon Britt's time on earth is done and over with, how does Brandon Britt, the person, want to be remembered?
I want people to remember that I was loving and caring, and most importantly, that I empowered them. I think it's very important. You know, like I said, I want people to be the best version of themselves, spread their wings. You know what I'm saying, and chase their dreams, go after them. You know what I'm saying, and that was like, man, Britt always spoke life into me to do this, do that. You know, I just want that to kind of be my legacy. So, like I said, he loved me and he spoke life into me. So, I'll be good knowing that.
All right, Brandon, I want to thank you for your time. Good luck to you. And I'm going to walk away. I want to let you leave a final message to the Western family.
Western family, I'll let y'all know, man, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. It was definitely a fun 5 years. I appreciate, Mr. Newman, Mr. Sig, Mr. Rayho, Mr. Brown, Mr. Baker, AD, Mr. Scales. I'll let y'all know I appreciate all y'all. Sprash y'all. Shout out to my wife who definitely supports, all my dreams and everything I want to do. Western family, I love y'all. It ain't no goodbye. It's see you later, see you soon.